All right, gold climbing to a record for a second consecutive day, fueled by worries perhaps over rising U.S. debt and demand for a hedge against inflation, as well as a weaker dollar. So should you be buying gold at these record prices? Let's find out from an expert. Let's get a perspective from guru of commodities, Jim Rogers. He's the chairman of Rogers Holdings. Jim, good to see you.
Welcome. I'm delighted to be here, but I thought you said there was going to be an expert.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to stop by. You don't come to the United States very often now that you're also based in Singapore. So what about gold? You're not as bullish on gold just at these prices, right?
Well, I own gold, and I'm not selling my gold, but I mean anything that makes an all-time high, I don't particularly like jumping on to buy it at the all-time high. If and when it goes down again, perhaps I'll buy more.
What kind of price would you be looking for to buy gold?
Tim,
I mean, if it drops below $1,000, $900?
Tim, I'm not that smart. Look, you can watch Bloomberg every day, and you see a lot of people who can tell you exactly what's going to happen and what price to buy and sell. I'm not that smart. I just, whenever I feel like it and think it's the time to buy, if it goes down, I'll buy more. I might buy more if it goes up. I do think that during the course of this bull market, gold's going to make new all-time highs adjusted for inflation. If you go back and adjust the old highs for inflation back in 1980, gold should be over $2,000 an ounce. In my view, it will get there again sometimes during the next decade.
Why are people buying gold now? And are the people that are buying gold now, should they be doing this? Are they professionals, or is this just people jumping on the bandwagon?
Well, you can ask in 2 years whether they should do it or whether they should be doing it or not. People are doing it because they're worried about the paper currency. The dollar's making new lows, as you know. They're worried about what's going on in the world. And traditionally, gold has been a hedge, people think, against inflation, against war, etc. For all I know, there's going to be some kind of war coming. Plenty of reasons to buy gold when times are right.
What about the U.S. stock market? You've seen the stock market rebound from those March 9th lows, S&P 500 at 666. Why do you think the stock market seems to gain as well as gold? I thought that there's supposed to be a divergence of some kind.
No, Pim. No, sometimes there is a divergence, sometimes there's not. It just depends on what's going on in the world. One reason the stock market is going up is because people have printed so much money. It's got to go somewhere, so a lot of it's going into the stock market. People are printing money, which is one reason gold is going up. So they can go hand in hand, and they have many times in history. By the way, I would point out to you, the stock market's up this year in the U.S., but the dollar's down, so you really haven't made any money. You may think you've made money, but with the value of the dollar being down almost as much as the stock market's up, it's basically a wash.
What about emerging market equities? Are you buying any there?
Nope. Haven't bought any stocks anywhere in the world for a couple of years, except in China last fall when it collapsed. No. The way to play what's happening, in my view, is to own real assets, commodities, because if the world economy is going to get better, commodities are going to get better because there's shortages developing. If the world economy is not going to get better, commodities are still a good place to be because people are printing so much money. And whenever people have printed money, as you know, prices have gone up. And if the world economy doesn't get better, I promise you they're going to print even more.
Do you think the world economy is getting better?
It's certainly better than it was in 2008. In 2008, everybody stopped buying anything. Nobody bought rice or beans or soap or anything else. Now, this year, you eventually run out of rice and you run out of soap and you got to buy more. And you have all these governments spending huge amounts of money, so of course the economy is better than it was last year. But the reasons it's better are not good for what's going to be down the road.
Higher inflation?
Higher inflation, worse economy, gigantic debts. Tim, the idea that you can solve a problem of too much debt and too much consumption with more debt and more consumption, I mean, that defies belief. Only bureaucrats and politicians could come up with something like that.
All right, but if they hadn't printed all that money and started all these stimulus packages, how much worse would it be?
Well, we would have had we have had and would have a very difficult time. But remember, the countries that have gone through this and then had a bad 2 or 3 years came out and grew very quickly. Scandinavia, Mexico, Russia, South Korea, the Southeast Asian countries. This has happened before. When Japan tried it, you know as well as I do, there was a lost decade, actually a lost 2 decades, because propping up zombies doesn't work. It's never worked.